Good morning, everybody. 5:45 a.m. sharp on September 29th, 2022. We will kick this thing off. The Ask Me Anything for the global Linchpin community. As always, good questions have rolled in, and so I won't waste anybody's time. We'll get right to it. This show brought to you by Strong Black Coffee. That's our sponsor today, Strong Black Coffee. Getting it done while the family sleeps. Okay, let's go ahead and dive right in. First most upvoted question. We've got a couple from the private Facebook group and then one from the BTWB Squads feature as well. First one is from Roy L. And Roy says, you mentioned on a previous Linchpin Conversations that you were on holiday with a family who didn't work out. That was my observations from Disneyland. This kind of echoes a recent incident I had at a friend's adoption shower where they basically tried to stage an intervention. Apparently, I'm addicted to fitness. I did my best not to snap at them, but it would be good to hear how you would deal with it from your experience. Whoo! Addicted to fitness. Roy, you might have some good stuff going on. I mean, I'm a fitness lunatic as well, but no one's yet staged an intervention, so a tip of the cap to you right there. That's you're getting after it. I'm being silly. All right, let's dive into this. Well, first and foremost, if we were face to face, Roy, I'd pick your brain for a little bit, some more context, some more details, but I think I got a general sense to at least give my idea on this. So, first of all, I actually believe that an unhealthy obsession with being healthy is possible. I think it's a real thing, and I've seen some folks with it, and I do believe some people suffer from it. Now, I don't think that's what we're talking about in Roy's situation, but I think it's fair just to say that, yeah, that's out there. And it might be a bit different for everybody, but, I could paint a general picture of, I've got 3 kids, and all sorts of responsibilities that come along with that role of being their father, supposed to be a provider, supposed to be a husband to my wife. There's all these things I'm supposed to do with my precious free time over the course of the day. And if I suddenly became obsessed with some sort of physical endeavor and decided I was going to try to qualify and compete in a Hawaiian Ironman triathlon, or I'm going to have to start training enough to go to the CrossFit Games, or fill in the blank of whatever it happened to be, something that basically would require 3 to 5 hours every day of my life, from which I would withdraw from society, withdraw from interacting with all those other people in my life, and be in my little bubble chasing this little goal. If it got to the point where that training, that time spent away from friends and family, caused me to drop the ball on some of the other responsibilities and duties that I have in my life because I'm just maniacally focused on training, well, yeah, then we could probably actually have a conversation of like, hey, friend, what's going on? I've noticed that these areas of your life have really fallen to the wayside, and just so you know, they're pretty important areas of your life that people count on you for, and it's something that you're supposed to be doing, but you've not done it anymore. All right, I see. Actually, Roy just texted in there. So for context, I run 4 days a week and Linchpin 5 days a week. Right. So like I said, I don't think, Roy, I don't think we're talking about your situation here, but I could see how it does exist. And in this extreme case, like that would be, in my mind, a fair time for friends and family to intervene, have a conversation, if all these other duties were falling by the wayside. Which, again, this is a real thing. I've been in the old strength and conditioning game for a while now, and I've, interviewed and crossed paths and had conversation, but been fortunate enough to talk to a lot of different people. And if we're having a real conversation, there are some people... Where to go with this? Again, this is not Roy's situation, but if we're talking about being addicted to something, and fitness can be something that people are addicted to and it negatively affects other aspects of somebody's life, it's certainly possible. There are very few people that are phenomenal at any one particular thing and balanced, right? And of course we could use extreme examples, but it's true. Michael Jordan probably wasn't a balanced human being in his personal life, right? I mean, you could play that deal with Mike Tyson, who I know had his demons that he was battling or whatnot, but you look at any person chasing some sort of extreme top of the mountain goal, and there's a really good chance that if they're doing that, other aspects of their household are covered in cobwebs and neglect. It is what it is. You know, for a period of my life in the teams and the SEALs, that's not a balanced life occupation. It is what it is. It's a maniacal, crazy obsession that takes up everything that you're doing. And when I was training to go there, I wasn't leading a balanced life, and I absolutely neglected my friends and family. I was obsessed with making it through training. Obsessed. And I made it through training, and so maybe it took that level of obsession. But for most regular folks just working out, trying to eat well, I find it really hard to believe that it would be at that level of obsession or neglect to other areas of your life that some sort of intervention would be needed, and friends and family would come in and be like, whoa, hey, pump the brakes, what do you got going on? So, and especially when Roy just said that he runs 4 times a week and does, one workout a day, the Linchpin workout of the day, 5 times a week. That's nowhere even near the realm of fitness obsession. Okay, so here we go. Back on track. That was a slight rabbit hole. Now we're back on track. Okay, so like I said, I doubt that's what we're talking about. I think what we're talking about is friends and extended family who probably don't work out. That would be my guess. Don't eat super well, and they're probably upset and or uncomfortable that you have the discipline and dedication to prioritize fitness and how you eat. That's probably more in line with what we're talking about. And this is a strange phenomena that I have experienced over the years, and I bet many people listening to this or watching this have experienced it in some way, shape, or form. If you prioritize health and fitness, not like a crazy lunatic, but you prioritize health and fitness, and your friends and family don't. All right, and I see Roy just tagged in 100%. Yes. So I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about the human condition that everyone knows, I think deep down, what eating well generally looks like. It's not sucking down energy drinks. It's not eating fried, greasy food every time you sit down. It's not always having dessert and treats. Even if they aren't well read on really eating clean or whatever it happens to be, they've got a general idea. And most people consume, poor food a lot, which is why society is in the case that it is. And most people know that they probably should be moving their body, but most people are largely sedentary. And so now, if you happen to be the one in the group that has had the discipline and dedication to get off that track, make these better decisions, it's really weird. And Roy, I'm not speaking for your friends, but I've seen this happen over and over again, this odd phenomena. There's just some people in this world who, instead of being happy for you that you have had the discipline and dedication to make these better decisions, it almost casts a light back on them and highlights what they're not doing, and that makes them feel uncomfortable and awkward. And instead of just being happy for you for being on a better path, they cast some stones, or they make some passive-aggressive jokes, but they're really not jokes. They're kind of lashing out. And there's probably something there that a psychiatrist would have an absolute field day with. But I've seen it happen enough times in my life and other people's lives to feel comfortable saying that it's a very real thing. So, how to deal with that? Well, and especially like you said, since you're not doing anything crazy, you're just talking about you're ordering something different at dinner that doesn't look like everybody else's, and now they're kind of making fun of you for quote unquote, what's your deal, dude? You know, ordering the healthy thing. We're all going out for whatever, some margaritas and something else. Why can't you just relax? Why can't you just let it go? And you're just like, I like what I ordered. You guys ordered what you ordered because you enjoy it. I actually am now at a phase in my life that I enjoy what I ordered. This meal is going to make me feel good and I like it, and so I'm not saying anything about what you all ordered. Why in the world do you feel the need to start saying something about what I ordered? Or if we're on some sort of vacation, which is awesome, great if you get to do that, and we've got all day to lounge around by the pool or lounge around the beach or play golf or literally do nothing all day long for several days in a row, who cares if for 30 minutes out of that all day long to do nothing, I just decide to walk somewhere and move my body for 30 minutes. I can spend the other 12 hours with all of you. No one's going to miss me for 30 minutes. I'm not interrupting anything that you're doing in any way, shape, or form, but for some reason, it bothers people. And again, I think it bothers people because it just makes them take a look at themselves, and that makes them feel uncomfortable. That would be my kind of deal with that. But Howard, I'm glad that you didn't snap at your friends and family, although maybe it was warranted. Beats me. How I would deal with it, I would try my best, easy for me to say this right now, I would try my best to remain calm and basically just ask them a series of questions. Like, have them define their terms. All right, you say that I'm addicted to fitness. What do you mean by addicted? And if your definition of addicted is somebody who works out 5 days a week, that's a sad state of affairs, because that shouldn't fall under the term of addiction. That should fall under the term of something that most of us aspire to. And so right off the bat, we've just got entirely different paradigms for what is appropriate in this world. And if making different nutritional decisions and not eating just greasy junk all the time makes me addicted to fitness, again, we've just got wildly different paradigms and priorities in this life. The addiction to fitness, what I would think would be one of the defining characteristics is what I said previously, is are there other mission critical aspects in your life that are being neglected because of how you move your body and how you eat? Your duties and responsibilities as a father, husband, provider, employee at work, friend, whatever it happens to be, are those just in the toilet because I decided to go for a run? If the answer is no, then I don't think we're even anywhere remotely talking about an addiction to fitness. We're talking about potentially some jealousy from the other party, and it's manifesting in a very weird way. So I would just try to have that conversation and ask for not generalities, but specific examples. Give me exactly what you mean by addicted, specific examples of how this is a negative thing. And it sounds like they would be hard-pressed to come up with that. It's really easy just to say something. Hey man, you're really addicted to fitness. You ought to just ease it back a little bit. Easy to say that. Tell me precisely what you mean and give me real-world examples. Then the argument might fall apart. And here's the other thing. I try to be prescribed with this a little bit, that all of us are broken, flawed human beings. Are you kidding me? If you shined a light into these other people's lives, their real lives, not the lives they show on social media, their real lives, you would probably find all kinds of junk in their life that they need to tune up and make better, and they are dropping the ball on. And also, we're all addicted to something, right? We're all addicted to something. It might as well be something that you could categorize as a positive thing. So we're all addicted to some junk. It could be Netflix, it could be something else, it could be whatever it happens to be. If you're addicted to some degree to eating healthy, not the worst thing in the world, But anyway, that would be my 2 cents on that. So, okay. I just saw Ben from France basically chime in and say it's a good thing I don't speak English because he's potentially addicted to fitness. But we're just making fun. We're having some fun there, Ben. Okay. Next most upvoted question. A quick look at the baby monitor. My baby is still asleep. Life is good. Coffee is still hot. Life is good. Here we go. This is from Patrick S. And as I always say, not me, a different Patrick S. Now that we'll be seeing the Linchpin tests in the monthly challenges, this is my question regarding that. How did the Linchpin tests come to be? Were they intentional? How are they different from the regular workouts you program in the private track? In that they are tests. I think that most of us would agree that your workouts, many other workouts you program, are equally as difficult. And are you done? Will there be more? So the Linchpin tests, when they first came out, is basically, I call them tests. Another word you could put for tests is just benchmarks. They're just benchmark workouts. That's it. But I liked the phraseology. I liked it as a test. Things that would kind of stand the test of time, have their mark in history, and would be repeated. And we repeat plenty of workouts, that's for darn sure. But I wanted to just compile a list. And by the way, in case anybody hasn't noticed, I just absolutely love programming. Absolutely adore and love programming. So when Linchpin first started to come around, I just thought it would be fun, quite frankly, to create a list of workouts that, although you've got the daily workout, that changes, and you can scroll through that, there'd be this other place on the website that if you clicked on this one thing, there would just be these workouts that were unchanging. You could always look at them, you could always see them, you could always reference them. They didn't change each day. They were what they were. And so I just created, at that time, 12 benchmarks. And it took a long time to create the first 12 Linchpin tests, because obviously they weren't being done haphazardly. I wanted to make them beautiful and elegant and worthwhile and meaningful and intentional, and I wanted to cover from short to medium to long time domains, and I wanted to have body weight movements to light to medium to heavy barbells. I wanted it to be that if somebody could make their way through all of the Linchpin tests, that you were a uniquely capable human being. Like, wow. I wanted there to be such wonderful variance in there that you would have workouts that absolutely were wheelhouse workouts and ones that unquestionably expose deficiencies. And for most people, some of them will be prescribed, and some of them will probably have to be scaled heavily. And there are some folks out there that could potentially do them all prescribed, and wow, a tip of the cap to you. But they would stand the test of time. Would there be more? Maybe. We'll see. Like I said, there were 12 initially, and now there's 14. Because Linchpin Test 13, the first 2 or 3 or maybe even 4 times that I did it, it didn't have a name. It was just a workout that I did. And then it was just deserving of a name. So it became Linchpin Test 13. And then Test 14, I just really liked. I thought it was beautiful, and I thought it fit a nice... I don't think we'd had an air bike in any of the other workouts, and so that became Test 14. I really like Test 14 a lot. I'm going to go to the website right now and so if you go to CrossFitLinchpin.com, you click on workouts, and then it'll bring up, after you click on workouts, one of the things says Linchpin Tests. Click on that. And then it gives you all 14 of the tests. And so we've done Test 1, we've got Test 2 coming up this month. And as I scroll through it, we've got everything from Test 2, we're going to have muscle-ups and squat cleans. Test 3, we've got a heavy deadlift coming up there. Test 4 is a burner, kind of Fran-esque, but there's a rower involved. Test 5, That's going to be fun when it comes around, right? So test 5, I might have to work into the lift heavy, run fast shirt or something for test 5, because test 5 is, if you're unfamiliar with it, 225-pound barbell for men, 155 for women. For time, 20 back squats, 2-mile run, 20 back squats. Linchpin Test 6, I think, is something that it's wall balls, pull-ups, kettlebell swings, and handstand push-ups. That's test 6. That's a test that I think nothing about it jumps out. No crazy heavy barbell, no particular whatever it happens to be. And I think that's a sleeper. I think that test is more comprehensive and more challenging than it initially looks on paper. And so that's a great one. So anyway, I won't go through all of these. But I mean, there's 205-pound barbell in test 7 for power cleans, front squats, and shoulder overhead. That's probably going to have to be scaled by a lot of people, and that's perfectly okay. There's heavy squat cleans, handstand walking, there's ring muscle ups, there's squat snatch, and there's all kinds of stuff happening in there, and there's going to be a little bit of something for everybody, so it should be good to go. All right, let's see. Okay, final question here. This was from the BTWB Squads feature. This is from Juan V, who says, how can I convince athletes that subscribe to the podium or hospital mentality to properly scale? They usually don't believe they will get their money's worth if they don't perform the workout as written on the whiteboard. I hadn't heard that phraseology before. I kind of like it, the podium or hospital. So what I think Juan means by that is it's everything or nothing, right? I'm going to do this thing prescribed and crush it, or I'll see you at the hospital if it kills me. I mean, that question is probably quintessentially Linchpin, right? Because I try to at least beat the drum all the time about how profoundly important scaling is. So what I did for you, Juan, is I went through and tried to find as many of the Linchpin conversations on scaling as I could, and maybe you can scratch these down on a piece of paper or write them on your phone or something, and then go back and listen to these, because these are all about scaling in one way, shape, or form. The heart of your question is, how do you convince athletes to do it? It's tough to convince people to do anything, because and I'm saying this as, when I look back on my earlier years at CrossFit, I was to some degree exactly the athlete that you're describing. I thought whatever the prescribed workout of the day was, that's exactly how I had to do it, and anything less than that would be, death before dishonor. I mean, I'm just not going to scale this thing. I'm going to grind it out, because that's what you're supposed to do, and you're supposed to be tough and suck it up and whoop-de-doo. And that's just a profoundly unintelligent, short-sighted, negligent, potentially injurious way to train, that I'm embarrassed that I lived any part of my CrossFit existence in that mindset. But I absolutely did. I just didn't know what I didn't know. Because there's a lot of people that just do CrossFit. It doesn't mean they actually know anything about it, or why it works, or how to program, or how to scale, or how the human body develops. And some of these people are even really great athletes. That's another funny thing too. Just because somebody is a phenomenal athlete, has great lifts and great times, actually doesn't mean they know anything about strength and conditioning, or CrossFit, or how to program, or anything else. Some people are just beasts. Good on them for being born beasts and easily making gains and all this stuff. But one is not related to the other. And so these people might be doing even well in the workouts and not know why scaling is important, or not understand that intensity drives results, and not understand why, if they do happen to run into a workout that is potentially above their skill level or capacity level, why modifying it or changing it in some way, shape, or form is not some dishonorable or lower workout. It's actually a better path to advance their fitness. And so having a conversation about the whys and the methodology, not even everybody is open to that or even wants to hear about it. They're just like, shut up, bro, I want to do the workout. I don't want to hear you lecture me. So it just depends upon what phase of life or learning or training that your friends are in. Are they even open to having the discussion as to what are just a couple of the small little nuggets and the whys about why CrossFit works, why intensity drives results, why functional movements produce a lot of intensity, why if you can't do A, B, C, or D, a modification in some way will be the more intelligent course of action for your long-term health and fitness to improve your deadlift, whatever it happens to be. So phrasing, they have to be open to the discussion. But for the conversations that you might want to check out Linchpin Conversations number 10. We talk about scaling Fran and general scaling topics. Conversation 19 is from a question somebody asked that said, if the scaled version of the daily workout is a bit too easy, is it okay if I do the prescribed version even if I know it will take me longer than the recommended time? Cool question. There's a lot of stuff wrapped into that. That was conversation 19. Linchpin Conversations number 32 discussed scaling in general. Is scaling a bad word? Again, topics of scaling. Linchpin Conversations number 235 is scaling a workout after the workout begins. Conversation 238 is how scaling also applies to intensity. Conversation number 268 is why to scale a workout even if you can do it prescribed. There's a really interesting one. So once again, conversations 10, 19, 32, 235, 238, and 268. And I'm sure there's a bunch of others sprinkled in there that I just didn't find this morning. But if you scroll through all the Linchpin conversations we've done, which by the way now is over 300, which blows my mind, I think you'll find some really good nuggets in there. Okay, let's do some Linchpin shoutouts. All right, first one is from Jennifer L., and this is entitled The Benefits of NFT. And again, not non-fungible tokens. NFT meaning not for time. So Jennifer says, I forgot how effective not for time can be. My body didn't feel like working out this morning, but my soul needed it. I hear you there. So I told myself I'd just head out to the garage and do today's workout with no clock. Just move the body, get the blood flowing a little. Did a light warm-up, set up the equipment, decided to turn on the clock just because it's there, right? Why not? First round, heart rate just slightly elevated, but as I continued to move, I picked up the speed, and by the end I'm breathing hard, dripping with sweat, and having a nice post-workout endorphin buzz. I need to remember this more. Absolutely. So she kind of did an interesting hybrid where she just allowed herself to slowly build into the workout because maybe she wasn't feeling it that day. Great way to do it. And again, fitness was achieved. She's going to be just fine. Next one. This is cool. This is entitled A Safe Space Like No Other. And this is from the Linchpin private Facebook group. I will keep this person's name private. But she says, I was wondering if anyone else feels the same way. I struggle with general anxiety. I always feel like something bad is going to happen, and even when things are going well. I feel it especially when it comes to me being on track with my health, nutrition, and exercise. Ever since I joined Linchpin, I've been more focused, motivated, and really on track than ever. I'm happier and more excited and grateful, but the happier and more excited and grateful I feel about it, the worse my anxiety gets. What a crazy circle that is. What if I get injured? What if I get sick? What if I have to lay off the workouts, etc., etc.? What if I lose momentum? The what ifs are endless. Does anyone else feel this way regarding workouts? Any thoughts or advice on how to deal with this would be very appreciated. Lots of love to all of you. So, as I've said many times before, this occurred in our private Facebook group. Right, this happened on Facebook, when I tell you that we have a unique community of actual positive, supportive people around the world, I'm not just blowing smoke. This person felt comfortable and confident and safe enough in our Linchpin group to be this open and honest and transparent and ask for help. And all of the tons of comments that rolled in after that were meaningful, supportive, positive advice. So again, wherever you are, wherever you work out, make sure you're surrounded by people that have your back, pick you up, and support you, and don't tear you down. Because again, life is a team sport. Okay, final Linchpin shout out, and then we'll once again just give a brief overview of the upcoming challenge, and we'll be good to go. Still got some coffee in my cup. Life's good. The baby is still asleep, crushing it right now. All right, here we go. This is from Chris W. Here we go. Starts out, I'm not very happy with Linchpin. My squat clean is 2 kilograms lower than my lifetime PB that I achieved when I was on a 6-week pure strength program. After getting PBs on my 3-rep power clean and my 2-rep front squat with Linchpin, and a PB on this workout overall, and my cardio and body weight stuff is through the roof from where it was. If you can't tell, this is sarcasm. Linchpin kicks you know what. So basically, Chris was saying that previously he was doing just a pure strength program, and with lifting constantly, his squat clean is within 2 kilograms now doing Linchpin as what it was when he was doing nothing but lifting every single solitary day. And following Linchpin, he's had PBs on his 3-rep power clean and his 2-rep front squat, which this workout that he's posting was you do some sets of 3 power cleans, some sets of 2 front squats, and then you end with some singles on the squat clean. You do all of them the same day. So he PR'd on 2 out of those 3 lifts today, not following a quote-unquote strength program. But the thing is, as I say all the time, if you're following well-rounded programming and you actually trust the process, things go in a really nice direction. And like he said, he's now able to achieve these numbers with his cardio and body weight stuff through the roof and still lifting wonderfully. So that's it. Okay. The Linchpin Challenge for October is test number 2. And there's no running in it. So enjoy, everybody. The first 2 things that we've done had some running in it. So Linchpin Test 2, for anyone who's unfamiliar with it, 3 rounds for time, 5 ring muscle-ups, 10 squat cleans, and 20 box jumps. The barbell weight, 135 for men, 95 pounds for women, and the box jumps, 24 inches or 20 inches. We'll, of course, give a prescribed, a scaled, and a dumbbell version. This is supposed to be a fun community event. No videos required. Registration is not open yet. This is going to be from Friday, October 21st to Monday, October 24th. So the week before the Rogue Invitational. And I've got shirts being figured out and printed right now with a new color, so check that out. And I finally figured out the new piece of swag that I wanted to have this time. It's being mailed to me right now so I can check out the quality of it. But for each challenge, I'm going to try to have a t-shirt. You can always get a black t-shirt or tank top. But there'll always be a new color as well. But then I'd like a new little piece of swag. And that's been the most challenging thing, is to find for each month something cool that I think people will enjoy. And I think we got it. So when it arrives in the mail, if I like it, I'll show it to everybody. So be on the lookout for that. So that's it. Have a wonderful day. Be kind to each other. And we'll talk later.